When purchasing a home using a mortgage lender, the lender will need an appraisal. This can sometimes pose some challenges, and we're here to help you navigate through the process. I'm Andrea, this is Raul, and we're at the Schrader Group. Why is the home appraisal needed to secure a mortgage on a home?
Sure. Well, just picture it this way. The listing agent puts the house for sale. We like the house, but we need to validate whether the house is actually worth what it's worth, right? And if somebody's going to give us money to buy the house, they want to make sure that they're going to land on something that the house is actually going to meet value. And thus, that's why the appraisal process is so important.
Okay, so who orders the appraisal?
Good question. So a lot of people think that the seller's going to do it when they got to go under contract, but no, it's really the buyer's lender that orders it because it has to be non-biased. And what that means is if the seller was to order it, they could be like, hey, I really love this house. We'd really appreciate if you could meet value, and they get to build this rapport. So we take all that out of the picture, right? So the buyer doesn't actually get to be, the one that orders or picks the appraiser either, because then we don't want it to be biased against the lender. So what ends up happening is the lender has what they call like a portal. And it's like a round robin, and it's really just at random. And once the order is sent in, it's pulled, and whoever it's assigned to is who gets the house.
How long does it take to receive the appraisal once it's ordered?
Sure, it depends. So if it was about a year and a half ago when all the refis were going through, it could take anywhere between, the order be ordered and it wouldn't get picked up by the appraisal company for probably about a week to 10 days, and then the turnaround time might be another 10 or 12 days after that. But right now, in normal times, I would say that if the portal is open to where the appraisal has been ordered, it's in the portal, from day 1 to probably about day 7, it'll get picked up, and then it'll probably be performed within the next 7 days. So I've seen them as fast as 5 days come in, but then the average is about 10 to 14 days on average for normal times.
What happens if the home doesn't appraise?
What happens if it doesn't meet value? So as a buyer side, if we're waiting for the appraisal to justify the value and it doesn't meet value, we'll get a call from the lender and the agent pretty quickly saying, hey, we didn't meet value. Our lender will tell us that we're short X amount of dollars, right? So say the house is worth $300, but it comes in at $380. We'll know exactly what the gap is. Typically what'll happen, well, 3 things can happen, right? If it's short, we say we're not gonna pay any more than that. We're gonna pay down to the $280. Or the buyer says, I'll come all the way up to the $300, right? That $20,000 gap. But most of the time, what we're going to do is we're going to try to negotiate, try to find common grounds, because the buyer is fully vested. They've already paid for the option period. They've paid for the appraisal. And so they have every intention of moving forward. The seller is committed to the process. So at that point, if there is a short appraisal, we're able to kind of, meet in the middle to where it's a win-win for both parties, but at the same time, it's just another form of negotiations that we're going to try to, overcome throughout the process.
What's an appraisal waiver?
An appraisal waiver is kind of you saying that, hey, I think you're listed at $300. I really love this house. I'm willing to pay $320. Well, the waiver would be, hey, I don't care if it doesn't meet value because I have enough money to back it up in the case that it's short. A lot of times what people will do is they'll say, hey, you think the house is worth $300,000? We'll make it contingent on at least meeting value, and we'll call it a partial waiver, saying, hey, as long as it meets $300,000, we're willing to pay the gap of that extra $20,000 because we really want this house. There might be a pool or a hot tub or a beautiful deck showing the city downtown skylights. And if there's that opportunity, sometimes the buyers are saying, hey, this is perfect for me and my family. I'm willing to pay extra and not make it contingent on the lender, because the lender is only going to pay off the appraised value.
When financing a home, an appraisal is a must. So we hope we explained that well to y'all, and let us know if you have any questions.